I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys, man. 100% real, truthful, honest, as I always am with you guys. Amplified factual information to the highest degree. Last night's Monday Night Raw, this show, was really bad. And I know we say that often, man. But this show had another layer of trash to it. A taped show where there should be no holes in your game, man. No logic gaps. You can go back, you can change, you can rearrange, you can take shit out, add shit in. There's no excuse to have a bad show last night. Not with the roster that they have. And this show was another layer of fucking bad. And BC is going to be very harsh in this review. So if you can't handle it, if you just straddle the balls of Vince McMahon, if you just ride the WWE cock till there's no end, this is probably not, and in fact there is no probably, this is not the review for you. The good news is there's many other reviewers in this community. Hit the bricks, good luck finding them, and have fun watching them. For those of you that can handle the amplification, can handle that truth, this is going to be a scathing review. It just is. I'm not having it today. I wasn't having it last night while I was watching it. I slept on it for about 3.5 hours, and I'm just as heated now as I was last night at the irrelevancy, the absurdity, the embarrassing level of patheticness that I witnessed last night. How it confuses us still. Mind-boggling. Dumbfounding is what it leaves us as. And we're going to talk all about it. And if you think that once it goes into a live audience that things are going to change for the better, and maybe we'll get superstars from the past, the John Cenas, the Brock Lesnars, maybe some Becky Lynches, you think it's going to get better. But not so fast. No. You see, because all of the concerns that we originally had for when WWE returns to live audiences and all the things that we were hoping they were not going to do, Stephanie McMahon has recently confirmed that that is exactly what they're going to do. All of the logic gaps, all of the creative holes, from start to finish, beginning to end, top to bottom, all of the things that really need to be fixed, rehauled, renovations in WWE. As a whole, every single problem needs to be attended to, but instead, and this is what all of us we knew that there was a big chance Vince McMahon was just going to slab that dab of paint over a structure that needs to be torn down because it violates every building code imaginable. That is WWE. It needs to be deconstructed. It needs to be torn down. But McMahon is just putting on some fucking paint. Make it all nice and shiny. He's going to Jimmy rig it, is what we call it. He's going to Mickey Mouse the issues. You sit on a chair that has 3 of the 4 legs broken. You might need a new chair. Vince McMahon is going to glue those 3 legs and hope that it lasts as long as possible. There's going to be some motherfucker that's going to fall on his ass and maybe get severely hurt, but in the meantime, hopefully that glue holds up. Hopefully before you start to chip away at that nice shiny coat of paint, before that happens, we'll get a lot more visitors to the structure. You can't tell that it needs to be torn down. You can't tell that it's a 150-year-old building. We made it shiny. Exactly what Stephanie McMahon has confirmed. Instead of being honest with her audience, fully transparent, your audience will welcome that. They want the truth. We have failed you. Our product has not been good. We have not utilized our wrestlers the right way. There are no larger-than-life superstars. And that's a company decision. Vince McMahon doesn't want anybody thinking they're bigger than the company. Well, when you do that, nobody can look at anybody like larger than life. Unless they do it themselves organically like Bray Wyatt and then they get punished in their booking. Like Vince does time and time again. That is a company decision. Be transparent with your audience and tell them you understand the mistakes you made and we're going to get better. But oh wait, they already did that in front of everybody during a Monday Night Raw. You guys remember that a few years ago? Stephanie was in there, Triple H, Shane was even in there, Vince, and they lied to everybody. We understand we suck, we know what we did wrong, and we're going to get better. And here we are. even worse than we were at that moment in time. And now Stephanie McMahon is feeding us some more fucking bullshit. Instead of addressing the actual issues, check out what Stephanie McMahon has said they're going to be bringing to the table, man. If you thought it was bad, it's about to get even worse in this company. Check this out. Steph says, and I quote, "We're going to have a new set design, new presentation of our talents, different locations, and arena setups. In other words, we're going to move our puzzle pieces around and see if our audience thinks it's fun, refreshing, and innovative. This is the type of exercise you would give somebody with head trauma. Move things around and see if they notice." She then says we're going to be utilizing augmented reality in a way that we never have before, because that's all this company needs, is more augmented reality. For those of you that don't know, augmented reality is a technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. So basically, they're gonna make things even more less raw than ever before, more less gritty, more fake, more augmented. Just fucking great. She then says, we experimented with it a lot during the ThunderDome, but it is now going to be incorporated into our talent entrances. So now, that fake bullshit blueprint is going to be on every part of your programming. Even the entrances, which we didn't think could be any more computer generated. They already have big dogs and giant Asuka masks and giant crowns. Any which way you can make this as less raw as possible, as fake and as cheesy and as augmented as possible, they've had these images ruining entrances for the past couple years. And now she says there's also going to be animated graphics. It's going to be so exciting and so different than anything we've done before. You've had these shitty graphics for years now, Steph. Augmented reality. Vince McMahon lives in an augmented reality. We all don't need to be in that same world with him. Instead of focusing on the actual issues that this company has, which again, there's a million, and they have to be attended to. Not we want them to be, they have to be, or this product is going to continue to sink. But instead of addressing the real issues, they're just focusing and concentrating on making it shinier. They want to make it brighter. They want to put in more LEDs. They want more graphics, more computer technology, more augmented reality. They want to make it as fake as possible, as absolutely nauseating to watch as possible. They want it as less gritty and actually raw. Like the name of the show, they want to make it as less raw as possible, man. They want it to be like if you open your eyes from a good night's sleep and you have a giant spotlight right on you, man. It's gonna be one bright, shiny piece of shit. Why do they do this, right? Why do they do this? It's the same thing as Mickey Mousing something that's broke, Jimmy rigging it. It's the same thing as putting a coat of paint on a structure that actually needs to be torn down. Put the new wall up. It's the same thing as putting a Band-Aid on a dislocated elbow. Or you broke your ankle. Oh, I got it. Don't worry. You broke it. You snapped your bone in half. Let me put a Band-Aid on it. It's not going to help. It literally will not help. You're making it look good. Oh, he's got a boo-boo, so there's a Band-Aid on it. I get it. That's why he's limping. You're trying to make something that is complete shit look good. That's not gonna last. Don't worry about making it more shiny, Steph, Vince, H. Linda! We're pleading with Linda. She seems to be the most sensible in the family at times. Maybe even Shane. Shane's got it right, man. He wants no part of this when the old man passes on, man. Shane's like, nah, I'm out. I'll take a stake in the company, but knowing the old man, he'll fucking sell that way before anyway. I don't know if he wants his family owning that shit. Somebody has to tell these people in charge that putting the Band-Aid on it, man, that's not the problem. You need to completely change. Your show sucks. The way you use your wrestlers suck. You have zero storylines. You have zero feuds we give a fuck about. And when there is a potential good feud in the making, you blow your load and you have your payoff a week later. And then we see the same match 17 times. And of those 17, 9 of them are fruit roll-ups. And this is a continuing trend. It's not a mistake. It's not just an issue or a problem. It's a trending situation. That shit needs to stop. But no, we're gonna make it shinier for you. We understand. We heard our audience. We know the concerns now that you have been preaching. We now know what we need to do to make this better. We're gonna make it shinier. We're gonna brighten it up even more. We're gonna give you a big, giant, fantastic fucking rainbow every Monday night. Anyway, just giving a heads up to my amplified unit on what to expect going forward as WWE transitions back to live crowds. Don't expect any of the actual problems and issues that need to be addressed. Don't expect them to have any focus put on them. Stephanie McMahon has confirmed where their interest lies, and it's in packaging this up real nice and shiny to manipulate the truth. None of the actual issues and problems that need to be addressed will be. You'll continue to get a Band-Aid on a broken bone, and they hope that you don't see through to the actual wound. They hope that that new fresh layer of paint does not get chipped, so you see the actual structure that's all molded and decrepit and it needs to be torn down. They hope that paint holds up. They hope that broken chair with 3 broken legs, they hope that that glue holds up instead of getting a whole new chair, man. Going to the root of the problem. They hope that you don't see any of that for many days to come. So they're going to try to augment their reality. No care will be put on to trying to create superstars. We can't even use that term anymore because they're not super. There's nothing about these wrestlers that are super. They're mediocre stars. 50-50 book. Nobody's a winner. No care will be put into creating superstars. No care will be put into character development. No care especially into larger-than-life superstars. No care into storylines or feuds. Not just that we care about, no care into storylines or feuds, period. That's this company's MO, and they're telling us, right from the jump, they're telling us that when we go back to live crowds, you're getting the same bullshit, it's just gonna be shinier. We're gonna augment your reality. I'm the Amplified Man. This is your review, Amplified style, for 7/12/21. It is going to be scathing. It is going to be harsh throughout. I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm not playing around in this shit. As we go back to live crowds, we need complete change. It looks like we're getting more of the same bullshit. And it's unacceptable. And it's time somebody really steps up to the next level. As if the Amplified Man wasn't already doing that. Maybe we can take it up another notch. Let's find out right now. Amp style. This show starts off with a moment of silence tribute to Paul Orndorff, a name so synonymous with pro wrestling in the 80s, which happens to be when BC started following along and really loving pro wrestling. Back then, we didn't have those little plastic action figures that they have today, or that really started taking shape and form in the 90s. No, back in the 80s, we had these huge, like 8, 9, 10-inch rubber action figures, man. They were made of rubber. It was hilarious. You old school fans know what I'm talking about. We had Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, and Paul Orndorff was one of them as well, man. King Kong Bundy was a dude. Andre the Giant. It was cool. They were huge and made of rubber, so I think they were a lot more fun to play with than the plastic shit that the kids have today. But Paul Orndorff was always one of the dudes that looked the coolest to me, so I always had him as one of the top heels. And I would always tag him up with Greg Valentine for some reason, too. I always thought Greg Valentine's figure looked pretty badass. So, Paul Orndorff, even though he wasn't a top face when BC really started the watching, man, I made him one of my top dudes in my little federation with the action figures. So that's a little fun story that I can tell as a fan for Paul Orndorff. But he's a dude that fans, and especially wrestlers back in the 80s into the 90s and still today, when you hear the name Paul Orndorff, man, it brings back so many vivid memories. And you just think of a dude who laid down the foundation for everything and everybody you see today. So many props and respects and salutes to Mr. Paul Orndorff and his family, man, his loved ones, man. Much respect, and our strength is over to you. Well wishes always. So, Paul Orndorff, salute. Let's just get this thing rocking, man. We start this show with the type of ridiculousness that is actually frustrating to the core. The lack of common sense that is embarrassingly nauseating. Xavier Woods versus Bobby Lashley. But why? We saw them several weeks ago, for no reason, mind you, inside of Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell! That's the very end of the line in a feud, right? Hell in a Cell is where you go to settle the score once and for all. The whole gimmick is both men may not make it out. That's the gimmick of it. Hell in a Cell is where you go to end a feud once and for all. Now, last night, we get it again in a regular match. This doesn't seem ass backwards to anyone else. Amp unit, don't be afraid to stand up, step up, speak out loud. Don't be afraid, Amp Unit, to say exactly how you feel. If this felt like it was absolutely ass backwards last night, BC is confirming for you those feelings are justified. First, they had a regular match a month or 2 months ago. Then they went directly to a Hell in a Cell match. And then here we are last night. That didn't settle anything. If you wanted to know, in BC's own words, when I saw that and I said the Hell in a Cell match has been devalued to the point of most likely no return. If you wonder how much it's been devalued, it doesn't settle shit anymore, not even for a month. It hasn't even settled a feud for a fucking month. Xavier Woods is in this match with Bobby Lashley like that Hell in a Cell never happened. And this is what they want to base a whole pay-per-view around. They want to get your money by giving you an entire Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and ensuring that we give a shit about this match concept in this match pay-per-view. When this is how you treat that match, it is a joke. It's meaningless. It's just another steel cage match, which has already been devalued to the lowest common denominating form imaginable. A glorified steel cage match and even cage matches are meaningless these days. Anyway, here we are. Just saw a Hell in a Cell match with these two last month, and here we are again getting it in a regular match. I digress. For the sake of moving on past this shit show, I will move on. You'll not believe what the old man had for the finish here. And what he actually did. They had Bobby Lashley destroy Woods the entire match. Destroying Woods. And then had him get hit with the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Faroot roll-up. They had your 6'3", 273-pound world champion 6 nights before a big title match, and he couldn't kick out of a fucking roll-up. It was too fruity for this dude. 6'3", 273, and Xavier had his shoulders down to where this badass champion just couldn't get his shoulder up just a little bit off the canvas. Your champion, 6 nights before a big pay-per-view title match. And I don't care what happens later in the night, if he throws a fit in the VIP lounge and everyone says, see, storytelling, now he's upset even more. You can't get that out of your dome piece now, that he just got beat, and not just defeated, he got fruit roll-upped by Xavier Woods. We already saw Kofi Kingston roll him up a few months ago and defeat Bobby Lashley. I don't care if Drew McIntyre helped him, or the Loch Ness Monster, or Davy Crockett, or whoever else Drew McIntyre is related to. Kofi already pinned, fruit roll-upped Bob Lashley just a couple months ago, and now we're seeing Xavier Woods roll up Bobby Lashley. It's not just that the dude lost in shocking manner, because the fruit roll-up is no longer shocking. If you have 3 or 4 fruit roll-ups every single show, it's not shocking. You should go into every wrestling match knowing that that is the move you need to stay away from. That's the move that's gonna beat you. It's not shocking anymore. The fruit roll-up used to be shocking when it was used once in a blue moon. That was the whole point of a roll-up. It hit you from out of nowhere. That was the old school RKO. You're having this war, and all of a sudden, you're so depleted from the war. You have nothing left to give, and you get hit with this roll-up, and it's hard to kick out. Nowadays, you're seeing somebody like Lashley have his way with Xavier, beating the fuck out of him. No energy being wasted at all. He gets rolled up, and he can't get his fucking shoulder a little bit off the mat. That doesn't scream world champion to me, you, or anyone else. There'll be some dipshit trying to defend it, obviously, because they're trying to ride the coat heels and the balls of the fucking WWE product. They want to straddle McMahon's fucking cock as much as possible for no fucking reason. They're not getting paid. But they'll defend this shit. And there's nothing to defend. We literally saw the 6'3", 273-pound world champion get fruit roll-up when he wasn't even depleted. It's not like you can say he was in a 25-minute classic and got hit. Like an RKO, he got hit with the fruit roll-up. It's not surprising anymore. So no, this does not fit. This does not work anymore. And this makes these wrestlers look like chumps, look like losers, look like circus acts. Can you tell that just got BC so fucking heated? Right from the jump, we get a fruit roll-up. Last week, we had 3 roll-ups in 1 hour on Raw. Back-to-back-to-back roll-ups. JR9 Gaming, you were put to work last week, brah. Well, JR9 Gaming, you were put to work again this week because that wasn't the only roll-up. You fucking kidding me? If this is their idea of trolling this company, they suck at it. Because they only are destroying their own product and their own wrestlers in the process. And if that's the case, then good. Let this company crumble to under a 1.0 rating. Because then and only then will we all rejoice when the USA Network refuses to renew their TV deal and Vince McFuckwad is forced to showcase his product on the Home Shopping Network, hawking t-shirts for $1 a pop. If not for SmackDown, BC may have given up on this company once and for all after this nonsensical shit show last night. SmackDown has kept it afloat the last couple of weeks. I digress. Bobby Lashley loses via a fruit fucking roll-up. If you're happy with that, if you're okay with that, congratulations. You are the problem with pro wrestling and more specifically WWE today. It's the truth. Because you want not even mediocre anymore. I used to say you want mediocre bullshit and you're accepting it. Now you are at the lowest common form of denominator possible and imaginable. Eva Marie is then sitting on a swing set with Alexa Bliss. Doudrop is standing behind her. That's right, there's a professional wrestler in this fucking company called Doudrop! Doudrop! There's a professional wrestler in this company called Doudrop. Tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? And Eva Marie, for this entire segment, is reiterating the same bullshit she's been spewing for years. She's the best. She's the star of the show. She's the face of the company. And the sad part is, in her world, and most likely Vinnie Mac's world, they believe this is getting her real heat. They believe this is going to make people want to boo her. No, motherfucker, this isn't it's fun to boo you heat. This is please fucking remove yourself from this show heat. That's what this is. There's a difference. There's fun heat and there's fuck, I don't want to see this person at all heat. I'm fucking taking off. I'm gonna make a sandwich. I'm gonna take a piss. I'm gonna walk the neighbor's dog. I'm gonna pick up a fucking bad hobby like smoking. Something, anything. Then watch this. There's that type of heat. And you don't want that type of heat. You bump Ember Moon to NXT. You release Mickie James. You give Asuka no storylines, feuds, or big title matches during her entire reign. But Eva Marie gets to play wrestler? Stop that shit, bro. I said it before and I'll say it again. There is zero reason to have this person on this roster or even in this company. That's not just shade. That's an entire eclipse because it's the truth. And somebody on this fucking platform has to deliver that type of scathing truth. It's the only way to make any change. And I already told you at the top of the show. I told you from the jump, Stephanie McMahon is already giving us a glimpse into the future of how this is just gonna get more shittier. They're putting the fucking band-aids on and the coats of paint. All they're doing is jimmy rigging and Mickey Mousing all of the problems and issues. And they're gonna give you more shiny toys. They're gonna brighten things up, make everything more colorful, give you some more graphics. And they're gonna hide everything behind all of this colorful technology. That is not adhering to the issues and problems that are actually smacking this company square in the face like a brick. But we'll get rid of the Mickey Jameses. We'll kick the Ember Moons to another fucking, a third brand. We'll treat Asuka like shit, even when she has a title. We know it's just to shut everybody up. See, Asuka has the title. Look at how she was booked her entire reign. She was holding the hand of Lana to try to give Lana a big push. Failed miserably for many reasons because it's fucking Lana. Lana is perfect with somebody like Rusev, the perfect manager. It's awesome she tried to train to be a real pro wrestler. She just didn't have it. So why are you having Asuka waste 2 months holding her hand, and then they kicked Lana to the curb when Charlotte came back, and to try to make Charlotte a face and to get cheered, they put her with Asuka too. That was Asuka's whole reign in tag teams with these fucking blondes to try to push them and not the actual champion. It's the truth. Go back and do your research. BC delved into the history books, but I was knowing this as weeks and shows went on. I started noticing the trend. Asuka was treated no better with the title than she would have been without. Maybe even worse. No real feuds for Asuka the entire reign. No memorable matches with that title, nothing. But you're gonna kick Ember Moon down to another brand. You're gonna release Mickie James. You're gonna treat Asuka like shit. And you're gonna fucking give Eva Marie the world and say, see, people don't like her. It's working. It's heat. What we're doing with her character, it's real heat. No, it's the same Eva Marie we saw the first time around. She talks all this shit. She walks out like she's the hottest thing in pro wrestling. She can't wrestle worth a lick. And this is with even more training. She has The Rock vouching for her. For those of you that don't know, the main reason Eva Marie's back, The Rock. She's actually friends somehow with The Rock, even trained with The Rock. Rock gives her inspiration and advice. Rock put in a good word. Eva Marie failed in Hollywood. She had to come crawling back to WWE. That's the truth. I don't care if it sounds like shade, man. I'm running a wrestling fucking podcast here. A wrestling channel. We tell the truth. She left WWE to try to make a big name in Hollywood. She failed miserably. Came right back. It's the same Eva Marie. She's not helping the product at all. Carmella can do what Eva Marie is doing right now. Carmella is smoking hot. Just watch her this past Friday. Carmella, smoking hot. If Vince really wants to have this type of person, this character, Carmella can do that and wrestle. Carmella at least keeps getting better every week. We're playing the same Eva Marie character from years ago. It's not helping anybody. She's looking for Alexa Bliss last night because she had Doudrop throw her over a barricade. So now we're going to have an Eva Marie, Alexa Bliss storyline, feud, and match. How exhilarating. Until you can tell me that Eva Marie can put on a 20, hell, I'll be generous, a 15-minute WrestleMania Classic match. I don't know if you can have a classic in 15 minutes, but I'm sure if you're good enough, you can find a way. But until you can tell me Eva Marie can captivate us with a 15 to 20-minute match on a big stage, fuck out of here, bro. Good looks can get you so far. You gotta back the shit up. I think Naomi is beautiful. Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Asuka, Io Shirai. Fuck, oh, she's so beautiful, man. Io Shirai down in NXT. Did I say Xia Li? All these females are so beautiful to BC. You know the difference? They all have talent, and they can all go 15, 20 plus minutes in a match, if need to be such. Don't give me people in this company when there are so many wrestlers in the world that are trying to get into these big companies to entertain us and wrestle their asses off. We don't need people with just a pretty face. Just not needed. Whatever. I have to move on because we can scream about this topic, this issue, till we're blue in the face, till the cows come home, till pigs fly. It's not going to make Vince McMahon move the pendulum any which way because this is what the old bastard in Stamford, Connecticut thinks attracts viewers. This is what the old bastard wants. Somebody with limited to zero skill and limited to zero talent. And that's not shade anymore, that's an entire eclipse because I'm on this platform. BC is doing this to try to help pro wrestling, to bring it back to what it once was, or at least in the same realm. To make it fun again. To make people watch and not be ashamed to talk about it the next morning at school or at work, depending your age range. Nikki, I'm Almost a Superhero ASH is out next. That's right, there is a professional wrestler on this show called Nikki Almost a Superhero ASH. That's how she's introduced. And we get a segment with this half-ass superhero trying to explain to Stoner McGee, aka Matt Riddle, that she's not quite a superhero, so she can't fly yet. This was a real segment! This was real! You have a stoner character trying to comprehend that a half-ass superhero, somebody who just put on a fucking Halloween costume, is trying to explain to the stoner that she can't quite fly yet. She's on her way, though. I talked to my good friends Lexa. I got Lexi and Asuka and Naomi, and I told them I'm almost a superhero. You just gotta stick by me, and one day soon, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly because when I put on this costume, when I put this outfit on, I feel like I can do anything. And I want to tell all the kids in the world, if you feel like you can do anything, go to your local Halloween store, pick a costume, put that on, and you can be almost anything you want to be. Ask my friends Lexa and Oscar and Naomi. I'm almost there. Matthew Riddle, I'm almost there. I can almost fly. And then you got Matt Riddle. Bro, you're like gonna fly? Like in the air? What are you watching? What are we fucking watching? What are we watching? Did I blow the fucking mic? Is this number 18 that I blew out? I hope you guys can still hear me. I may have already blown the mic out before this segment. I'm watching this segment. Oh, feel these words. I am watching this segment and I'm fucking dumbfounded. How did professional wrestling, this show, how did this show get this bad? How much longer can we all do this? How much longer can we gather from Monday nights to watch this? These are questions I honestly started to fucking ask. And you say, well, BC, I've been asking that for 10 years. No, I know. But as I said in the cold open, I don't give up on things I'm passionate about or that I love, man. My Knicks, my Yankees, my Packers, it's not going to happen. Pro wrestling has always been that staple, mate, man. We always tune in at the bare minimum out of habit and hope. So even though we ask these questions subconsciously, we still know we're going to tune in. For the first time last night, I was watching this and I honestly thought there could come a time real soon where I can't even watch the show. And that sucks because I know you guys enjoy... First of all, a lot of you guys stopped long ago. You still just tune into BC to listen to my reviews. Much love and respect. You probably did the smart thing and you bailed on this fucking shit. And thank you for still stopping by and listening to the BC scream for a half an hour, sometimes hour and a half, 2 hours. Thank you. At least I can entertain you. But BC's at that point, man, where, you know, it's sad because I know a lot of people like to hear my words on it, and I'll still cover pro wrestling, obviously, but I don't know about this shit, bro. They can't keep doing this, man. This is right after a fucking Dewdrop segment. Now we got an almost superhero. We got fruit roll-ups already. And this is all hour number 1. Forget trying to captivate you for the rest of the show, another 2+ hours. Bro, you're already slunked down in your chair. If you're not asleep, you're fucking halfway there. And you still have another over 2 hours to go. You're already confused. You're befuddled at the booking. You can't believe the circus type shit they're giving us. And we're not even done with the first fucking hour. Then we get almost. That's right. Omos is now just Omos. He used to be Omos, almost, because he sounded like almost. But we're going to call him Omos for the sake that there's a new Almost now. And she's almost a superhero. So you have Almost in a match with Naomi and Asuka and Lexe. Right? Naomi, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Almost a superhero are in a fatal 4-way match. Why? Am I the only one asking this question? Why? Just because they're in a Money in the Bank match Sunday? How does this constitute a fatal 4-way stipulation or match? Just like Woods and Lashley in a Hell in a Cell match a few weeks ago, for no reason. We are devaluing now the fatal 4-way match concept and stipulation. The fatal 4-way, it should be reserved for bigger situations with something on the line, like a title, right? And even then, I can't stand when there's schmaz matches for championships. But back in the day, they used to do a triple threat or a fatal 4 once in a blue moon. And it's when there was a championship, and you really could not decide who was the number 1 contender. Nowadays, they do it all the fucking time. It's pure laziness. They don't want to build a number 1 contender. And they have a fucking roster that's about to implode. I mean, they gobbled up all this talent. If you put a pin on the WWE bubble, it would literally burst. So they just throw everyone in there, right? It's lazy booking. Let's just have a bunch of number 1 contenders. And there's a title on the line. Right now, there's no title on the line. There's not even a reason to have a fatal 4-way, other than these 4 ladies are in a Money in the Bank match Sunday. Okay, they're in there with 4 other fucking ladies, 4 other women. A fatal 4-way stipulation was wasted for no reason with these 4, and you know I'm correct. I can't fathom this decision-making, and it's honestly pathetically sad to see this company just give up. They don't even care anymore. They legit don't, they stopped caring. This is the type of booking that tells you they stopped caring. How do you build to a Money in the Bank ladder match? You take the 4 participants from your show, and you just throw them in a fatal 4-way. Nothing is on the line. You devalue 4 wrestlers fighting each other at once, which should be reserved for once in a blue moon. And I wish I could tell you that we had some cool or fun or interesting finish, but you guys already know how this thing ended. The same way nearly every match ends in this company. Almost a superhero hits Asuka with the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. No joke. Another fruit roll-up. Asuka, you're badass from Japan. At one time, nobody, do you guys remember when nobody could beat this woman? Undefeated streak because she was that fucking badass. It didn't matter what you did to Asuka back in the day. You weren't beating her. It was a streak. Not even Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania was okay with people when she finally defeated Asuka and ended that streak. People were still pissed off. And Charlotte's pretty good. We give her a lot of shit because her character is absolute trash. They keep bouncing her from face to heel thinking that's going to work and there's going to be a connection with the audience, but there is no connection. She has her diehard fan base like every wrestler has. Outside of that, there's no real connection between Charlie Flair and the audience. Turning her face and heel 100 times is not going to help that situation. But I'll give her credit. She's a good wrestler for the most part. And not even when she beat Asuka for that streak and ended that streak, people were still like, nah, brah, this is Asuka we're talking about. So there was a period where nobody could beat her, and now you have somebody in a Halloween costume rolling her up, and Asuka's flat on her back or crumbled up in a fucking ball getting rolled up, and taking a simplistic 1, 2, 3. Asuka cannot kick out of a roll-up! Of a fruit roll-up! And I know. There's defenders, right? The WWE fucking ball straddlers and the dick riders, man. I liked it, man. You're taking it seriously, man. It's a fucking victory. What are they gonna do, right? She's almost a superhero. This is what you wanted. You said it, BC. You want Nikki Cross to have a push. This is how you're... First of all, she's still 50-50 booked. When she first put on the Halloween costume and turned into an almost superhero, she won a match. Do you guys remember what the fuck happened last week? Or did you forget? Don't worry, that's why BC's here to re-educate, to remind you. Because I don't forget. Just last week, Nia Jax was pinning her 1, 2, 3 with her tongue out. Embarrassingly pinning Nikki Cross, Nikki ASH, an almost superhero. So how is this a push? And then this week, Nikki ASH Ketchum is winning a match again. So it's win, loss, win. Next week she'll lose. So what are you saying? She's still 50-50 booked. I don't need to see Asuka get fruit roll-up to give Nikki ASH Ketchum a push. Because until Vince McMahon shows us it's a real push, yeah. And furthermore, why not push Nikki Cross? Why do we have to turn her into a fucking joke? Now I understand this is from the concept is from the mind of Nikki Cross, and Killian Dane, her man, says that this has been 6 months in the workings, and Nikki Cross has been trying to add in all these details. But you know, once McMahon got his grubs on it, McMahon altered a bunch of shit and made it even cornier than the original concept that Nikki Cross had. So yeah, I still believe this is McMahon who ruined. Nothing goes through that curtain without McMahon's stamp on it. Even if it's your idea, your concept, McMahon will find a way to ruin it. I doubt very much this is exactly what Nikki Cross had in mind. And even if it was, it's a bad fucking character. It's a bootleg Molly Holly. Almost. Your message to kids is that you can be almost good enough, so everybody gets a participation trophy. There's no more fucking going out, doing your best, and receiving awards and adulation because you were the best. No, participation trophy for everyone. Just be almost good enough. Just be almost good. Mom, Dad, did you see me? I almost won today. I know, you're gonna almost get an ice cream cone, little Timmy. Almost. This is the message. This is where we're at. Almost a superhero. Almost there, Lexi. I can't, man. I can't. Fruit roll-up on Asuka. I told you they don't care, man. I told you that. 2 roll-ups in a half an hour. Last week, they had 3 roll-ups in 1 hour. And for this night, we weren't even done with the roll-ups. There was another one still to come. But I'm not supposed to say anything about it, right? Just shut up and watch it. That's what they say, right? All the ball straddlers and the dick riders of WWE. Check that and fuck you. However, as more and more tried and true diehard fans continue to walk away from this fucking company in droves, maybe BC should walk too. Maybe. Asuka rolled up by a defective superhero. Because let's be honest, that's exactly what happened. If you thought hour number 2 would be even just a little bit better, you're giving this company way more credit than it deserves. In fact, get this, they had one of the greatest professional wrestlers alive today, AJ Styles, get beat by a Viking sitting on him, holding his legs down in what BC likes to call the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. Another fruit roll-up award. If I had the awards right now, you would see them on camera because last night, Bobby Lashley gets a fruit roll-up award. Last night, Asuka gets a fruit roll-up award. Last night, AJ Styles gets a fruit roll-up award. Think about these names that are losing via the roll-up last night. Bobby Lashley, your world champion. AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Asuka, one of the best wrestlers in the world. At one point, nobody could even beat her. And they're all getting simplistically fruit roll-up, subconsciously planting in the minds of every wrestling fan that indeed they can easily get beat at any moment. It's not shock victories when this happens every single fucking match. It's not a shock finish. It's a fruit roll-up is what BC calls them. And it's so cool to see that name catching some fucking fire in the wrestling world. I'm starting to see fruit roll-up all over the place, man. And we really brought that to the fucking forefront. We really raised concern with this 2 years ago, last year especially, and to this day we keep putting up the good fight to end the fruit roll-up once and for all in pro wrestling. Last night I saw AJ Styles after seeing Bobby Lashley and Asuka lose by the same fucking move. He gets sat on by a Viking, he gets cradled up, legs pinned down. It's just another variation of a fucking roll-up. By a fucking Viking. You realize the last time, I'm going to drop some statistics as I always do, and usually these statistics really make people think and dumbfound people. Well, this is going to be no exception to that rule. I'm going to give you guys some numbers that are going to fucking shock and rock you a little bit here. Do you realize the last time AJ Styles won a televised match one-on-one that didn't involve a DQ or a countout, because you could add in an Elias victory? He beat Elias, I believe, by a DQ a month or two ago. But if it's a straight one-on-one match, pinfall or submission victory, the last time AJ Styles won a one-on-one match, straight up pinfall or submission, you would have to go back to March 8th of this year against Randy Orton. That was his last victory. Randy Orton, March 8th. That's 4 months ago. 4 months ago was the last time we saw AJ Styles win a match via pinfall. He lost his last 6 televised matches dating back to June 14th when McIntyre beat him. That same night, he lost a 6-man tag too to Drew and the 2 Vikings. The next week, he lost to Ricochet. Then the week after that, he lost to Drew McIntyre again. Last week, he lost to Matt Riddle. This week, he lost to a Viking Ivar. And again, I reiterate, this is AJ fucking Styles. There's no way anybody can even begin to defend this level of pathetic. These are stats and statistics that you would see for somebody like James Ellsworth or Gilbert or a Hornswoggle or a Josh Matthews or a Maven. Does anybody remember Maven? A fucking Kurt Hawkins losing streak. Do you remember his character? Kurt Hawkins couldn't win a fucking match. I don't care if it's Ninja Tozawa or even the way Drew Gulak is booked. Whether you respect them or not, whether we know they're good wrestlers or not, hey man, maybe you expect that type of booking. AJ Styles has not won a one-on-one match via pinfall since March 8th, 4 months ago. AJ Styles has not won his last 6 televised matches dated back a couple months. AJ Styles is stuck in a tag team just so he can hold the hand of Omos. And then after AJ Styles lost this match, check this out. Omos is then in a match with the other fucking Viking, and he beats him in just a couple of minutes. I mean, after all, the old bastard in Stamford, Connecticut can't have you actually thinking the Vikings are winners, right? They had this victory over AJ Styles. I'm sure there were some people after that match, too, that were trying to defend the company. I like this. It makes the Viking Raiders a viable threat. And BC, don't worry, AJ Styles is established. Well, you can't lose every match for an entire year, basically, and still keep that establishment. You can't just rest on past laurels. But for everybody that thought that was a good decision, it came right back to hit you in the face like a brick when Omos defeats the other fucking Viking. So they'll win one match, and then just 5 minutes later, they lose a match. 50-50 booking. It ruins everybody, and it gets nobody over. The Viking Raiders, when this was all said and done, after Ivar defeated AJ Styles, when the segment was all done and over, and Omos took care of his business, the Viking Raiders were the same fucking chumps that they've been on the main roster. The only difference now, AJ Styles had to swallow a loss. Another defeat. Just to make the Viking Raiders look more fucking circus-like. Oh yeah, you gotta love this decision-making, man. This is WWE, man. Multi-billion-dollar conglomerate company. BC, you're too negative, man. BC, you're too harsh. BC, you're critiquing it way too harshly, man. You're over-criticizing this, man. You're over the top with it. Am I? Am I over-exaggerating the critique of this shit, or is everything I'm saying 100% damn truth? Sheamus then defeats Humberto in 16 seconds via the bro kick. Damian Priest storms to the ring. Sheamus hightails it, and they stare at one another like a couple of teenagers at a school dance afraid to make the first move. Looks like Priest is next up for Sheamus' United States Championship. I want to like that concept, but they'll find 42 ways to fuck it up beyond repair, so let's move on. Backstage, Miz and Drip Drip are spraying Ricochet and Matt Riddle with Super Soaker water guns. Guys, I know this sounds silly like everything else in this show, but this is what actually happened last night in this segment. They were getting sprayed with water guns! And this took us into another matchup between Ricochet and Drip Drip. Ricochet did some fun flippy things. The match was full of botches, just messy. And for these two dudes with the skill of Rico and Drip Drip and the skill that they possess, it was too messy. I'm not sure what was going on, but they did not click this time around. Now, luckily for them, they had a lot of bells and whistles. It was falls count anywhere, no DQ, some type of stipulation. Who fucking knows anymore? Every match has a fucking stipulation that's watering it down and devaluing it. Another stipulation that you should only see for a big feud at a pay-per-view, but we're seeing no DQs and falls count anywhere for just a Drip Drip Ricochet match. Yeah, BC's making you think, right? Even if you can't stand BC, or so you told yourself, but yet you listen to my fucking every word and click on every vid. Even if you say you can't stand, you know damn well everything I'm saying right now is making you think, fuck, this dude's right. So we get another stipulation for this fucking match, and luckily they had all these bells and whistles. They're fighting over the barricade. Ricochet gets to do a bunch of flips off the fucking post. Ricochet ends this match by setting up a ladder on the outside, on the apron, to the commentary table, and then he jumps from the fucking post through Drip Drip and the ladder. So it's supposed to be an explosive ending, right? Smashes through the ladder, and then he gets a 1, 2, 3. Luckily, they had bells and whistles, because if you go back and watch, you don't gotta take my word for it if you don't want to. You know I'm fucking accurate. You know I've already watched this thing twice. But go back and watch it yourself, and you tell me this wasn't a full-out messy match. Messy as fuck. Even when he did the ring post flippy thingy. And he just fucking catapults. Upside down, how you doing? I don't give a fuck what it's called anymore. I really don't. These wrestlers are doing all these fucking flips and dives, and they're not even landing 98% of the time. Go back to that move last night. Even on the replay, they couldn't actually show the fucking landing because all he did was he brazed him with his hand. So you got your little flippy dive, and it wasn't even an impactful fucking move. But everyone's okay because the illusion was, wow, he was flying higher than a man that soars. He was flying higher than an almost superhero. So that's just one, too, man. There was another time when they were both on the fucking barricade. Probably supposed to be a Spanish fly, I'm thinking. But Ricochet fell off. So Morrison, Drip Drip, just fell to the fucking apron. Luckily, Ricochet, thought better to... He started going like this. No, you ain't gonna get me in that. So he tried to save it, but you could tell it was a total botch. They were supposed to do, I believe, a Spanish fly. And then there was other moments where they were just fucking off. And again, I'm the only reviewer that'll probably say all of this, and if you go back and watch, you're gonna go like, wow, BC caught all of that. I bet you every other reviewer either passed it or said it was just a good match. Nobody dissects this like BC. I told you. I got you covered, man. I've been dissecting this shit way before YouTube was even a thing, bro. Back in the 80s when I was a kid, I was dissecting pro wrestling. I don't know why. I just always loved to watch it move for move, man. It was always captivating to me. Anyway, much love and respect to the dudes for going out and doing what they did under the confines, but it was messy, man, and they can do a lot better than that. This was not my favorite match out of the, I believe, 3 that we've seen. Bells and whistles is not just going to do it. You can't just throw out ladders, chairs, tables, throw out stipulations for no fucking reason and hope that gets us to the finish line. Not with BC, man. Maybe for some other regulational reviewer, somebody who thinks they're a critic, thinks they're a journalist, thinks they know what pro wrestling's all about and how to dissect it. Maybe that suits them, not BC. Yeah, no, I already said Rico took the victory over Drip Drip here, man, through the fucking ladder, through the bell and whistle. So, yay, man. I don't see him winning Money in the Bank, nor should he be. Rhea Ripley then defeats Natalya with her Riptide, whatever. It wasn't a fucking roll-up, so let's move on, right? Afterwards, I believe Charlotte Flair, Charlie came down and, like, locked her in the figure four. So Rhea Ripley's supposed to look like this badass beating Natalya, and then she's crying and fucking frantically trying to tap out to Charlotte Flair's figure four. So this is what I mean, man. Even if you're not winning and then losing a match, or losing and then winning, you're still 50-50 booked. You're a badass for 2 minutes, and then you're crying in agony the next minute. This dude, this bastard in Stanford, he can't just... It's not hard to build someone up. Everything doesn't have to be 50-50. Subconsciously, nobody is going to look at any of these people like they're winners. The VIP lounge ended the night. MVP out there. This was the final segment ever in the Thunderdome. Not just the night, man. This was it for the Thunderdome. And by the way, this was taped. So the last theme music ever to play in the Thunderdome was actually Edge. How fitting is that? Edge ended it because SmackDown was live. This was taped a day or two before. But this was the final segment air-wise ever from the Thunderdome. Bobby Lashley is out there, man. All the ladies are out there from the whole train. Straight from the Godfather. Beautiful ladies. But Bobby flips out. He tells the girls to leave the ring. He yells at MVP, and he destroys the VIP lounge because he's so upset about the loss earlier from Xavier. I'd be too. Because Bobby Lashley, going forward, nobody's going to look at you like the beast that you should be booked as. Because you lost to Xavier via fruit fucking roll-up. 1 month after you lost, or a couple months after you lost to Kofi Kingston via a fruit roll-up. When it happens more than once, it's no longer a mistake, it's now a trend. Listen, I love this kind of Bobby Lashley. That's how you book him. A monster, unhinged, throwing shit, throwing people. But I can in no way, shape, or form forget how easy he lost to Xavier Woods. It's just unacceptable, and no fan can get that out of their subconscious. It's just the truth. Bobby Lashley was ruined a bit, man. There was a piece taking out of his momentum, of his steam. It's absolutely unacceptable, man. Bobby Lashley is going to be looked at as a fucking chump unless you book him properly. You could say that about the majority of the fucking roster, but this is your champion. You book him good for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden you do something stupid like last night. And they do this with everybody. You have somebody like Braun Strowman flipping over ambulances, beating up entire security teams, looking like a badass beast, a potential face of the company, one of, and then you start booking him like he's an absolute clown show chump booked into irrelevancy. And you saw that happen with Braun like 3 or 4 times during his WWE run. And I'm just using Braun as an example. Bobby Lashley's the same thing. You can book him like so strongly, and then he looks like a fucking chump. Then he's strong again. Then he's a chump. We call that 50-50 booking. And again, it ruins motherfuckers. It does not promote them, and it does not push them. I'm BC Amplified. This has been your Amplified Raw review for 7/12/21. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, were entertained, and hopefully you come back for more videos in the future, man. BC's got you locked and loaded all fucking week long leading into Money in the Bank. We are rocking. We are fucking amped. We don't take a fucking minute off in these videos, in these live streams, in these audio onlys, on this podcast, on this YouTube platform. Wherever you're catching me, audio only, visually, we're gonna drop that amplification like nobody else. That is my promise to you, or I'm just gonna stop the channel. We're either amplified or we're not on the channel. The platform. BC. Get your shit in order. Get your shit in order, Vince. Money in the Bank is Sunday. I really want to talk about this show in a positive way, right? Flowers, cupcakes, and rainbows, everybody. Positivity. The power of positivity. I really want to talk about Money in the Bank in a good way. Help me do that, Vinnie Mac. Give us a good fucking show. Don't hold your breath. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't give them any credit. This is Vince we're talking about. Until we actually see it unfold, We'll all talk about it the next Monday on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly review. But don't get it twisted. There's a lot more content to come this week, man. Stay subscribed. Stay notified. Keep rocking it, Amp Style. Coffees and ass whoopings. BC, and I'm out. Check you later.